Hi, I'm Janice McLean, and thank you for watching this edition of Entrepreneurs Edge TV. Today's show is going to profile and feature some interesting entrepreneurs, one who is a captain, and another one who will talk to you about exposure when we come back. Stay tuned.
Here's food for thought. Certain dietary supplements can help older Americans protect their health. For example, according to a recent study by the Lewin Group, daily intake of 1,200 milligrams of calcium with vitamin D could significantly reduce the occurrence of hip fractures among those over age 65. In fact, the study estimated that over 5 years, nearly 1 million hip fractures could be avoided by providing seniors with the necessary calcium and vitamin D supplements. Another study found that daily intake of approximately 1,800 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids can help reduce the incidence of coronary heart disease among people over 65. Some 76,000 hospitalizations could be avoided every year. Age-related macular degeneration, a condition which gradually destroys vision, is also a major problem for seniors. The study found that the daily intake of 6 to 10 milligrams of lutein zeaxanthin could save the sight of some 20,000 Americans a year. A few pills a day, it appears, can prevent a lot of problems over the years.
Hi everybody, we are back with our first guest, who is Captain Tom Halleck, and his company is called Burial at Sea. I found this business very interesting, and I thought it was a unique business to hear about, and hopefully you will too. So we're going to talk more with him, and we're going to find out why. Hello Captain, thank you for joining us today.
Hello girl.
Now, let's talk about who Captain Tom Halleck is.
Well, I've been a sea captain most of my whole life, and not much you can say other than that. I've run tugboats, I've ran everything you can imagine at sea. And the last vessel I had in the Inner Harbor, I became the love boat captain of Baltimore City. And I had that from Governor Schaefer and Mayor Drew Burns.
Okay.
And of course,
wow.
then I lost my wife around 85, and my son didn't want the vessel. So I sold it like a dummy. But anyhow, I'm sitting on the vessel for the last time because the gentleman asked me to take a ride with him. And I'm crying like a baby. Well, God says to me, I want you to bury people. Now, this is hard to believe because it shocked the heck out of me. But now I'm burying cremains at sea. And it's a altogether different than watching people get married. But then again, at the same time, it brings so much life. I made so many people happy on this other vessel, and this one I find I'm making them the same way.
Okay.
They're so much relieved of their loved ones because I'm letting them. Their loved ones are going back to work.
Now, when you say they're going back to work, what does that mean?
Well, that means they're not going to be buried in the ground where they can't go nowhere. They're going to travel the 7 seas.
Now, why would people choose burial at sea as opposed to cremation or just straight burials?
Well, you had to be cremated to start with for me to bury you.
Okay.
But the thing is, the economical part of it, it's so much cheaper. I mean, the money that you save by being buried at sea, you send your children to school, or you can save your own home.
Yeah.
I mean, the way things are today.
Yeah, the economy is tight.
Really?
So, how would people find you?
Well, I have a website, and that's www.lifebeyondseaburial.com. And or that'll call me at 410-276-2145.
Now, why do you have a lot of competition in this market?
No competition at all, because really, as far as I know, I'm the only one in Maryland that's allowed to do this because I've been grandfathered in for one thing.
Now, what's grandfathered in mean?
Still, I've been doing this for almost 40 years. So that's a long time.
Okay.
And of course, with my attorneys and all have that, they straighten me out pretty much on it. As long as I don't bury 100 people one day, you know.
But I think what you have is an interesting model. And quite frankly, I think, I know at some point we've all got to go. But it sounds like, if you have to go, funerals are not like they used to be. They used to be boring and everybody was crying. And not saying that you don't miss your relatives, but this seems like it lightens the mood and the moment.
Well, see, that's what I do. When they come aboard the vessel, I'm in a full uniform like you see now. And I tell them the crying's over. If I see a tear now, it's because you're happy because you see your loved one going back to work. And that's what it's all about. When you go to work, your cremains are full of calciums, different minerals, which the sea life needs.
So there's an environmental aspect to it.
Oh, very much so.
Now, you're in Maryland, and I'm really fascinated by why a lot of people don't know about what you're doing, and they've not tried to partner with you in some way, especially the Chesapeake Bay, because you're doing something out on the sea. And I don't know whether they have or they haven't, but I think that would be a good partnership.
Well, I think what is people aren't educated to the fact that this is one way, this is the best way to go. Because I always said in 60 years you'll have a Walmart put on top of you anyhow. So, I don't know. At least if you're at sea, baby, you're going to travel the 7 seas.
You'll travel the 7 seas.
God said he's going to bring everybody back from the sea.
Okay, so there's one other thing that I want to know. What's the process that you go through when somebody comes to you and they say, Captain, I want to have a burial at sea? What's that process like?
It's very simple. First thing I ask them is, how many's in your family? Because they want to, what's the cost of it? And that depends on how many people go. Like the day I have to bury somebody that the family couldn't make it for all person. The person was shipped across the country to me. That's one price because I don't have to worry about insurance for people on the boat, which is expensive. And that's the main thing is they had to send me the cremains. They had to bring the cremains with them.
So is that a separate cost for people to have the cremation done and then come to you, and then there's your price for it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I don't do that. I do not do cremations. All I do is bury the cremains at sea.
Okay.
Put them to work. And it's just a matter of paperwork. It's all, you have to bring the cremains with you. Have to have the death certificate. You have to have the certificate from the Cremains Society, whoever cremains your body. It's simple as that.
So they come to you and they have all of that in order. How long does it take from the time they bring the paperwork and everything to the time you actually do the burial at sea?
Well, sometimes they bring the paperwork with them to the boat because, sometimes some people have to be buried right the next day. I've had all kinds of funerals. The main thing is it takes about 2 hours, the service.
Okay.
And then after that, I send them a beautiful, it's a plaque they can put in the frame. It's a beautiful paperwork.
Now, what's the service like? Can you give me an idea of what the service would go, how would that would be?
Well, I do the service. I don't read from a book. I talk to God from within me. And I have contact with, I know these people before I bury them even, because the people, like for example, if you're going to bury your father, you tell them, I said, what's your father's name? And when you tell me, I start praying for your father from that time until I bury him.
Oh, yeah.
We had a beautiful wedding, a funeral, a beautiful funeral about a year ago. The father had passed away 10 years before the mother. So when the children brought the parents to me, they wanted to know who should we bury first. And I said, why don't you bury Pop? Because, he's going to take care of Mom.
Right.
So we buried Pop. And the problem is urns come out orange. I found out later that was because of the years in the plastic, the chemicals changed the color. When we put the mother in the water, be doggone, I wasn't praying in tongues because I do those things. And the children say, Captain, look what's going on. And I look down, and the orange urn has circled all the way around the white urn. See, and I said, hey, see that I told you Dad was going to take care of Mom.
No.
So I said to him that, hey, he's going to take her to the Caribbean islands now. And the daughter said, oh, no, Cap. He promised to take her to show her the inner harbor first. But that broke up the ship.
So so you do they come to you with the certificates, and then you do the
paperwork,
right? And then What's after that? What's the next
Well,
step?
the paperwork really goes into a file and stays there.
Right.
As long as I live.
But as far as you, what's the next process?
Then I wait for them. I generally let them let me know what's the best time for them. Because I know people work. So whatever's the best time for them, because I'm retired.
Okay, so you go through the paperwork, they come to the ship and you get everything lined up. Tell me about that process real quick. We got about 2 minutes.
Okay, meantime, I pick up the flowers. I take care of all the flowers. Because I ask the deceased person what flowers they want. And I always, somehow, pick the most beautiful flowers. Because the parents will say, or the children say, that's their favorite flower.
So now we've got the flowers.
Now we got the flowers. Now we go out to sea. And I give them a talk like I'm talking now.
Right.
I tell them a little bit about myself and how God works through me.
Right.
And I tell them, I'm going to bury your parents or your parent or your child.
So you say,
or your pet. I mean,
yeah.
But then I scatter the cremains, or I let them scatter.
Okay.
I give them I ask them, can you? Some people can't handle it.
Yeah.
And other people say, well, I'd love to do it. So go ahead, do it.
And so then after you do that,
And then I go in my tongues and I pray to God, and then after they put them in, then we throw our live flowers. Nothing can go in the water that's not live. It has to be living. So the flowers turn out to be very beautiful, and everybody by that time is relieved, and because I think by the comfort of talking with them, they just feel so good inside.
so then you throw the flowers and then you pretty much wrap up the service.
Wrap the service.
Wow, okay.
And I get some beautiful letters from people who just can't believe how much better they felt now that they put their loved ones back to work.
And I'm sure that makes you feel good too, to know that you help people feel comfort, especially in a time like
I'm going
that.
to tell you something. It's a lot easier to marry people.
Yeah.
But this is hard on me sometimes because I take it so serious. I'm so involved with the person I'm burying. I just feel like I knew them.
Like you know them,
yeah,
right?
like I knew them.
Yeah.
And but that's the way I think it should be. That's why I don't think everybody can do it.
And you know what? I think you're right about that. And you may very well be right that maybe this is your calling that was meant just for you.
Wow.
And sometimes people think that's hokey, but I don't. I think it's important to know your calling, and sometimes we don't know, but sometimes we're called upon, and I think maybe that's what happened in your case. And they couldn't have found a better person to do it, so I'm real proud of you.
Well, thank you.
If you want to contact Captain Halleck, his phone number is 410-276-2145, and his website is
LifeBeyondSeaburial.com.
Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back with our next entrepreneur.
After high school graduation, students can go in many directions, from work to college or military service. However, to get there, all young men must take one extra step. By registering with the Selective Service when they turn 18, men comply with the law and stay eligible for federal college loans and grants, jobs, and training programs. Graduation is a major accomplishment, but young men shouldn't let future roadblocks keep them from where they want to go. Men may register at sss.gov or at any post office.
Welcome back. I'm Janice McLean with Entrepreneurs Edge TV, and we're talking to our next guest, who's Claudette Whalen. And she reminds me a lot of my favorite aunt. She's very comfortable. She's very friendly. I found to be a very warm person. And I was very interested in her business model, which was advertising and marketing for small business and entrepreneurs. So, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. All right.
Good.
So we finally got together. We finally made this happen.
Yes.
All right. Tell me about Marketing Solutions DOT Exposure Magazine. What's that?
It is a marketing firm for small businesses, big businesses also.
Okay.
But right now I'm attracting the smaller businesses to promote and inspire, showing different ways their company can be of value to them and to their prospects. I share the wow.
Okay.
Bring out in you.
Okay.
To make the customer want to come to you.
Okay,
I
so
share that
how do
a
you
lot.
do that? If I was a customer and I'm coming to you for the first time, and I want you to help move my company to another level that it's not at right now as far as advertising and marketing, how would you help me do that? Can you walk me through that process?
I would come to, first of all, your place of business, if there's a place, or go through your portfolio and let you know what you need to emphasize on and how to emphasize, and just consult, where if you need to put a sign, if your area does not have mobility for people to see you right at the point of, contact, do sandwich signs, do balloons. Let someone know where you are.
Okay.
In that location, even though it's in the back. Move it up front. And Exposure Magazine, what we do in this is we put you out there in the marketplace as far as distribution of who you are.
Okay.
And more so, not an ad, but something about you as the individual of that business.
Now, how did Claudette Whalen, the person, become Claudette Whalen, the business person? What's that process?
I did Mary Kay, streams of income, everyone.
Yeah.
I did Mary Kay, I decorate, I stage also. That was the beginning to start. And I had a nice event, and everybody was like, oh, you need to do more of this because you interacted so well with all of the business owners.
Isn't it wonderful how people always suggest and sign you up for things that they want you to do?
Yes, and I said no. And then my cousin, she said, come on, you can do something with an entrepreneur group, and it was just 3 of us in my living room, and now we are 24 strong.
Wow, yay!
And 15 at every meeting, and we go to different venues, we have lunch, I bring in such as you, Janice.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to you coming and sharing. I bring different ones in to share on different topics.
Right, okay.
That I choose and set it up where we do lunch, and it gives the entrepreneurs that come out an edge.
That's funny. Go ahead. You won with that. It's funny because now, everybody's got an edge on something, and I think back to the days when everybody was telling me, oh, you should do this, but, nobody wanted to have an edge, and now everybody's got an edge, which is a good thing. It's all right. So at the end of the day, it's about making sure everybody really moves to the place that it is that we think we want to go to. So you and your friends started this at home and your cousins, and so then what happened at that point?
And at that point, I did not know I would start an advertising publication or a marketing firm.
Right.
And which is all coming to full circle as I move forward in the things that I should be doing. I meet new people, and it's all like coming together.
And I think it's really a great time for this because, and I don't know if, people are really paying attention to the news or what's going on as far as economics and the economy itself, but entrepreneurship, small business, marketing and advertising, for smaller companies, you're starting to see a lot of synergy between the two because we're all realizing that we're in the same boat together.
Same boat.
Also, I think the economy as a whole is starting to realize that, small businesses and entrepreneurs really are the backbone of the United States and, and in some other countries as well. And so that we have to come together if we're going to survive. Because right now, the economy and jobs and job creation is not growing as fast as people would like you to think.
Yes.
Yeah, I went on record and said that.
Okay.
But there are still people like Claudette and I and a host of other entrepreneurs and small businesses like yourselves at home that are watching who are getting up every day, and we're fighting the good fight, and we're trying to put, our ideas into motion and create something so that other people can benefit. So I applaud you for at least, taking that step and moving it to the next level.
Thank you, Jan.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And, Claudette also has an event. Tell us about the event that you're having coming up.
The October the 6th, 2012, at Maryland Country Club, which is located 1201 Stevenson Lane in Towson, Maryland. We will be having what we call a mixer. those that are entrepreneurs know what a mixer is. It's all...
And for those that don't, tell us a little bit about that.
It is all different entrepreneurs coming together, exhibiting their items for market right then and there, and different sharers.
Okay.
And we're going to have like about 5.
And Claudette and I also talked about what we're going to have, Entrepreneur's Edge and JMD Entertainment Group. We're going to have a barter and trade... We're going to have a barter and trade expo that we're having ourselves in 2013. We'll tell you more about that as the day comes up. Now, let's go back to, now you're in business, and so what's the next step? How do you attract your customers now? So you told me the game plan about how you help them, but how do they find you? How do they come to you?
You know, Janice, this is really a good question for me, because I find myself meeting people daily, and it's like set up. They meet me first, and then they find out that they wouldn't mind doing business with me.
Okay.
So this is the key now, is what you call a relationship. You have to build that. And building a relationship, somebody said, I think I will advertise with her, because I feel comfortable, especially with the dollar and the economy, like you
Absolutely.
said. You have to spend wisely, and it costs to advertise in such a publication. And also, I'm winning that battle over.
Okay, so how is the economy, you feel like the economy, does it have an impact on your business?
It has an impact on my business, because I'm not as quick to get people to throw their money at me to be a part.
Welcome to the economy.
Yes, into their marketing.
Right.
But it also gives me an opportunity to step up my consulting business, as far as sharing with them, letting them know the need that they need to have more into branding themselves, putting themselves out there in the marketplace.
Okay, now let's talk about legislation. Right
Okay.
When I say that word, people cringe. They go, oh gosh. I don't want to talk about that. So if you had to pick one area that may affect small business and entrepreneur people, or even yourself, as far as legislation today, what item comes to mind for you?
The item that comes to mind to me is always taxes, and certain things that our age group, 50 plus, if we're going to use 50
That's right.
plus,
Yeah.
which that's me, that's the age
And that's
group
all right.
I'm
That's all right. Yeah.
And I find, I'm going to share this.
You do not look 50 plus. But anyway.
Thank you. Thank you.
You look great.
Oh, I'm going to tell you the rest.
I'm going to be like you when you get, you know what, I'm going to be the same way. I'm going to have my hair done, because I don't know that. Some days it's like, oh. So you look great.
Thank you so much. And I'm not going to say I hear it a lot, but I thank you for sharing it today. That it motivates me right now. As 50 plus, we need exclusive for our age group.
You mean more support?
Support.
Okay.
Definitely exclusive support.
Well, for just as entrepreneurs and business owners, or just in general?
In general, and more so, in general, everybody's not entrepreneurs, and it's a little hard to be an entrepreneur.
It is.
So
it is. It's a different challenge in itself.
It's a whole different challenge in itself. And it has a lot of challenges that I would love to get into. But when you overcome them, it's by the grace of God now anyway, you know, because in all the skills that you have to be prayerful in everything that you do, that you attract people. It's so much you have to do when you having to wear the one hat. And all of the different
So if you could think of support that, say, you know, a government entity coming in, or even a partner that would like to come and partner with you, could offer, what area would you need support in most, or would you feel could be more effective for you in that age group?
In the age group of 50 plus, for a partner coming in, or any type of agency, would be to assess what is needed, more so, more of the Y generation, to bring them in.
So basically partnership as far as staffing and finding people to help support your work.
To help support the work.
Manpower.
Word of mouth. Manpower is it.
I think also too, and this is just my thought, which sometimes may not mean anything, but there should be some kind of incentive for not just people 50 over,
Yes.
but just entrepreneurs and small businesses. I mean, you know, if you want to tax, you know, this group
Yes.
to death on one angle,
Uh-huh.
you should offer some kind of incentive
On another.
to help us do job creation.
Yes.
And at one point, there used to be something, it was called a workforce development
I was going to
program.
say the same
And
thing.
they took it away.
I remember that. You
It
could
was-
get help from, you know,
You could
different
get
young
help from people that were starting out, and the government would give you credits
Yes, yes.
toward your business that you could use to
Yes.
pay the people that were helping you.
Exactly.
So I don't get it, but anyway. So all right, support. Now,
And it's a lot of them would like to do that.
Yeah.
They would love to work with you.
yeah.
You know.
So one thing would be support. If you could change one piece of legislation that's in effect right now, what one comes to mind?
Janice, I think you got me there.
Okay,
But-
that's all right. You know, I think that's where agencies like AARP, and I love AARP and the work that they do, and some people are not familiar with the work that AARP does, but they have some great programs. In fact, I met with a group, Veronica Walton, hey Veronica, and it was with the Maryland Diversity Supplier Council out of Washington, D.C., and they had a meeting that they talked about with you know, how to do government contracting and how to do business with the government and support and resources for people that were in a certain age range and age bracket. And, you know, I just feel like we need more programs like that, and we need more support for groups like AARP, because they are the only one that I know about. But you might even want to, you know, get in touch with them and hear about some of the wonderful things that they're doing.
Yes.
And I really sometimes wonder if the government could even partner with them too and offer, you know, informational workshops to help people understand what's available to them, or create and implement, which is always the key word there, some of those
Yes.
programs as well too. So Claudine, let's take a look at the book that you have in your hand, and could you just explain a little bit about how your cover works and how often you publish, and just when people can look forward to finding out more about your magazine or reading it? Or
Wonderful.
supporting it?
Well, supporting it.
Yes.
That is one great word
Okay.
that we all need a lot of.
And when I say support, I mean sponsors, manpower,
Yes.
and people that want to come to make this better and move it to another level.
Another level, moving it to another level, because we're just not satisfied. Entrepreneurs out there, we're not satisfied
Right.
with where we are. We constantly have to make changes, okay?
So if people want to contact you, what number can you leave for people to call you on?
888-976-7648.
Okay, one more time. 888.
888-976-7648.
Okay, great. It's been my pleasure talking to you, and we're going to talk a little bit more when we're done here.